So I'm going to go back a little bit and talk about how the Panther Council came to life, and then we'll take a journey through some things that we've done. We entered into a time that we found out that we were losing an administrator because of some comments that had been made to them, comments that were insensitive, that were racially driven, and then they were leaving because of that. Busy with another administrator, and they acknowledged that they had experienced something very similar while on the job that was very insensitive, racially driven, and very hurtful, but they had endured it. And so visited with our board about that, and we did a team of 8 training, and everybody was committed to moving forward and getting better and addressing the situation that we had. And we knew that we could do things as adults, but we wanted really to look from a student standpoint and say, are students experiencing some of these same things? Are they aware of that? And then what do they think is the best way to solve that? And we visited about forming a advisory council and a leadership team. And so we went and visited with our principals at the junior high and high school and asked them to put together as diverse a group as they could possibly get, and to intentionally look for diversity, and didn't want anybody that didn't want to just single athletics or non-curricular or all boys or all females, whatever. We looked at every way we could possibly do that. And so they put that team together. And so we started some meetings, and the first meeting, we had a very open and honest conversation about the performance that our teaching staff was doing in the classroom, and how we were meeting the needs of the students. And so that helped us a lot and shaped some professional learning that we did starting back to school this year. Then we moved into a diversity, equity, and inclusion conversation. And we just sat in and had that conversation. My memory serves me that when we first started that, we were a little hesitant to have the conversation. And then it just got deeper and deeper and deeper. And then we talked about doing an exchange with our students so that we could get a bigger voice than the 12 students, because we have 7th through 12th, 2 members per grade level. They stay on it for their entire career in the district. So some of them will have an opportunity to serve 6 years on the council. And so we ran an exchange. And so I'm going to share my screen and see if I can pull up the right screen and share it. So we ran that exchange, and this was the question we asked. What are your thoughts, feelings, or questions about being included, valued, and feeling like you belong while at school? We felt like that question really got it out there and gave us some good feedback. And so this is the high school exchange. And this is what I've always said about exchange. No matter what your question is, the things that are at the top of their mind will come out. Better food because we be starving. Okay, that was the #1 rated thought about how you're feeling. And you can kind of see that we need better food, more drink choices, vending machines, better food. Those were some of the top choices, need better food. But here's the cool part. That may not have addressed specifically that question we asked, but we passed that information along to our director of food services. We passed that along because our kids, that was at the top of their mind. As we move down, we have better opportunities to have more classes that help us with our future careers. And then we got in to what started to be the biggest topic, and it started to run through every grade level. I feel like some teachers have favorites and don't pay attention to certain people. And then it continued. I believe we don't feel like we can share our thoughts equally and actually be heard because the people around us don't value our words. I feel like every sport, competition, UL event, and any benefiting school activity should have the same support. I feel included, though. I feel like teachers have favorites. Teachers and coaches picking favorites. And so we saw that at that level. Then if we look at the 8th grade, same question, teachers have favorites. I'm not a favorite. That's pretty profound, Dennis, when we start talking like that somebody talked about. We did see bathrooms, saw that people were tripping. Our lunch came back up again. And I feel like lots of students are treated disrespectful. I want everyone to be treated fairly. Now that's wisdom when that comes from a student. That's wisdom. Some students are treated totally different than others, even when receiving discipline. And so those pieces started resonating. Here's the cool part during our exchanges. Our students helped introduce the question to the students. They were moderating the exchange. So we had an email account just for the Panther Council, and they were able to see the inappropriate remarks coming and determine whether they got released or not. And then during multiple exchanges, they came up to me and said, one student or another came up and said, Mr. Stanford, we got a problem. We got to fix this favoritism piece. And so we kept having that. They were helping students run the exchange. So I was really proud of them there. The next thing that we did is we put all the results together. We took a look at it, and then they determined what they wanted to report to the board. So they actually went to the board meeting in May and did a report to the board of what they saw. Here's the sheet that we used, and we give them a lot of freedom when they're doing things. And so you can see that they use their own style on the sheet, and you can see that it seems like teachers are here just to be here. That was one thing that came up. I feel like some teachers have favorites. Teachers are often choosing a group of students they do everything with. And then we jumped down, and I think Ethan's was really profound. From the time I've been here, I feel like school needs to be more invested in awareness and depression and anxiety, because that's why a lot of people miss school. And so they were able to do that. And so our board was really receptive of hearing that, and just really powerful. I think now what I think would be good is for Ethan and Riley and Lily to just talk a little bit about how they felt being involved in the actual process of gathering that information through exchange. And so if they can do that real quick, I think that would be pretty profound from them to hear that. So if y'all want to jump out there and unmute and then just talk about how you felt as you were able to be part of that information gathering process.
I felt very, very blessed to be part of something that will impact not only my next 2 high school years, but many others to come after me. And it made me realize how serious not only me, but other classmates and basically the whole high school was taking the exchange. They were very serious about it, and they really put the effort into the problem.
At first, I was a little bit reluctant to participate in something like that, just because of the natural fear, that people our age aren't necessarily going to take it seriously. But as Riley did say, everyone did end up taking it seriously, which was really great to be a part of. Definitely, it was an experience, especially knowing that, our student voices are now being heard and that so many people were willing to respond, because I do have 2 younger siblings that go here at Westwood, and I really do want them to learn in an environment better than I had. Not necessarily saying that I had a bad environment, but there are obviously many things that could be improved on. So just to be a part of it as a whole was really, like she said, a blessing.
I'm just very happy that I got chosen. Not necessarily chosen, but just got brought into this group, because like Ethan and Riley said, it's just amazing because we got to listen to other students talk about how they feel about the school and the environment. And like Ethan said, I have a younger sibling that's eventually going to be in these school districts. And I want it to be nice enough that she doesn't have to deal with some of the stuff that me or Ethan or Riley or any student that's been in the high school had to deal with. And I'm just happy that, like Ethan and Riley said again, that everybody took it seriously and didn't just goof around, because we wouldn't be at the point that we're at right now if people just messed around.
So we met last week, and these 3 were a huge part of determining our next steps with this. So I'm going to let them talk about what the next steps are, what they want to do next. So I want everybody just to listen to this. This is coming from high school students of what they want to do next. with this information about the favoritism piece?
So I think we all came together and realized that we needed to go to like the root of the problem of the favoritism. And it kind of centered around the teachers and how they were treating us. And so we came together and said that we were going to do an exchange with the teachers and see what they thought about the problem and what they could do to benefit us.
Yeah, so ultimately we did say we were going to do an exchange with our teachers. And this really is just to help get the other side, because of course there's two sides to a story. We have our student voices. Now we really want to hear what the teachers have to say about it. And obviously it also brings to light the favoritism thing, because some teachers do it, you know, unaware that they have favorites, unaware that they are treating one student better than the other. So that's why we did say we did want to run an exchange with them. And I'm actually looking forward, because I would like to hear what they have to say. Obviously, you know, more mature minds for most of them, and just to get their perspective. So that's part of our next step.
Wow.
Yeah, like Ethan and Riley said, they pretty much summarized it up. But while we were talking during one of our meetings, there was multiple ideas, like multiple, and it was amazing. But we all kind of came together and thought of this one because, well, like Riley said, we need to find the root of the problem. We already did an exchange for the students, so why not do an exchange for the teachers, and then kind of put those together to figure out what's going on? Because that's what you kind of do in an argument. Ask one person, ask the other, and then put it together and try to figure out what's going on. And
So
that's-
Dennis,
Yes.
think about that now. We got kids saying, let's run an exchange.
Mhm. Super, super, super powerful. And there's some things we can do at Thought Exchange to help you look at those two exchanges together and see what types of trends or themes are emerging and see where there are differences and the like in that conversation. I just have one question for this group before we go forward. You have involved yourself in something in school outside of academics or extracurriculars. You've seen how that has manifested or is starting to create change. What are the implications for this as young adults and moving into adulthood? What are some civic or some social obligations that you're starting to learn to tackle already as you think about moving into adulthood? I know we have a senior in this group.
I think one thing that I've personally learned is you have to very much be aware of your treatment of other people, because like I said, some teachers with the favoritism thing, they're not aware that they have a favorite. They're not aware that they're treating someone superior to another. So definitely it's become something to be very conscious about the way I interact with people, and really learning about any biases that I have that I need to get rid of, and learn that, you know, the way we have to interact with everyone needs to be on the same level of respect, on the same level of, you know, humanity, things like that.
Absolutely. And schools are just a small microcosm of the greater community. So what you're learning here in this controlled environment that is school has great, great implications for when you are outside of the school environment. Wade and the team from Stanford, man, I mean, the team from Westwood, you all make me super, super proud.
So Dennis, all I can say is hashtag bless superintendent.
Bless superintendent.
Yes.
So give it up for Wade and his team and the Panther Council. And there you see the full council that has put in this work in Westwood.